What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is September 20th of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, I want to start by asking a big question. What if I told you we are only 1/5 of the way towards reaching our new cycle top for this bull market in cryptocurrencies? Or to rephrase that question, what if I told you that there was an opportunity for crypto valuation to increase 400% or make a 5x multiple over the next year and a half? Some of you might think I'm completely crazy, that I'm out the wazoo, my expectations are way too high. And some of you might also be saying that, Nick, you're being too conservative. You're not taking into account the parabolic euphoria that cryptocurrencies have seen before in the past. But in today's video, I want to try to provide a neutral, down-the-line, rational analysis of where the market could be heading and use history to our advantage in understanding a clear picture of why a $10 trillion valuation for cryptocurrencies could very well be likely. So whether you guys agree or disagree with the analysis I put out in this video today, if you guys got something from it or enjoy it, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell icon. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Let's not wait any longer. So I want to start as we're analyzing this question of understanding where we are right now in regards to valuation, and also analyze the core element here, which is Bitcoin. Now, whether you guys like Bitcoin or like other projects, whether we like to admit it or not at the end of the day, Bitcoin as an asset will drive bull markets and it will drive bear markets. It is the centerpiece of the cryptocurrency market, being the largest cryptocurrency asset and the direct on-ramp for so many cryptocurrencies. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is the dominant cryptocurrency. And when Bitcoin is generally going up, altcoins in the broader market are likely going to go up. And vice versa. When Bitcoin's generally going down, we are going to see altcoins drag down. It will not be that there are any major anomalies over a long-term time frame. However, there are small periods of times and exceptions, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Okay? So we need to use Bitcoin as a guide here to determine one really important thing, and that is the time frame expectations. So when are we expecting this cycle top to be? And outside of that, where could Bitcoin roughly go in order to reach this $10 trillion valuation? Something completely far out, something we haven't seen before, something actually quite rational when we consider history, right? Well, what we do here within this chart is we utilize the BLX chart. It's the longest standing history of Bitcoin's price that we have to work with. And we're taking a look at the monthly chart here. So each of these candles represents a month here. Now, those of you who have watched my channel, you guys know we look at this chart quite frequently, but this gives us a really great understanding of something known as the expanding cycle theory. And that is where from bottom to top in each cycle, we generally expand anywhere from 11 to 13 months. So we can see here the first cycle was 11 months. The next one was 24, an increase of 13. And then we saw here from 24 to 35 from the second and third cycle, an 11-month increase. Now, the idea here is that we're going to go ahead and just meet in the middle here. We don't want to say it's going to be 11 months or 13 months. Let's be rational here and try to be as non-biased as we can be and say that, it's probably going to be a 12-month increase to a total of 47 months from the bottom here in December 2018 towards our new potential high in November of 2022. Now, along with this, you're going to hear many people out there, guys, other people other than myself, who are going to preach the idea that the cycle top is right nearby. It's going to be here in the next couple weeks. It's going to be here in the next couple months. And to be completely frank with you guys, look, it's perfectly fine if you want to think that or other people want to think that, but history is not in favor of that opinion. And again, we like to use data science. We like to use data analytics. We like to use market price action on longer term time frames. It does not pan out that way, historically speaking. We would be, if we were to set in the cycle top here by the end of this year, you'd be expecting Bitcoin to reach some kind of euphoric valuation range sometime here by February, December. It's just not accurate according to history. We would be only expanding by 1 or 2 months versus what we have historically. Right? So we're going to go ahead and play in line with the expanding cycle theory. Okay. Now, along with that as well, a lot of you might ask, why 200K? Well, I actually stand in the position that I think a lot of people are being overtly pessimistic by expecting that we're only going to reach 100K in this cycle. Look, that's a great move. That's still a doubling of where we are from right now, more than a doubling in price. But historically speaking, 200K is not only a big even level, and we can see here, historically speaking, in the sense of the percentage returns, this is about half of what we had in the last cycle from bottom to top, okay? From the peak of the bear market to the peak of the bull market. But one thing that I think is really important to note is that a lot of people tend to have generally kind of conservative estimations for Bitcoin towards its euphoric peaks. So for example, a little bit of self-criticism here, I believe that Bitcoin was going to top 10K in the last cycle in 2017. And albeit it did make it to 10K, so I was right that it was going to make it there, it didn't peak out there. In fact, it continued to double in this case towards $20,000. And that was a great learning lesson for myself. So with that, we want to again assume here that a lot of people are going to be looking for that first visit to the 6-digit territory of $100,000. And then it's likely going to continue carrying forward with market euphoria in a relatively short period of time towards 200K, right? So again, just bearing that in mind here, that's our estimations here. Now, when we have this idea that Bitcoin roughly around the cycle peak is going to be worth $200,000, and we take the existing supply around that time in November 2022, you're likely going to get a valuation somewhere between 3.5 to 4 trillion. The number is somewhere around that range. And for simplicity's sake, we'll go ahead and use that $4 trillion figure. Right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the important chart here, what we're actually talking about in this video, which is total market capitalization, right? The overall value of cryptocurrencies. Now, right now we stand at around $2 trillion. Couldn't have it more perfect than this. We're nearly exactly at $2 trillion. But the important thing here is that we're estimating that crypto valuations could go up to a big even level of $10 trillion. It might sound like a very big ask at the start, right? But let's just go ahead and do a bit of analysis here, right? We're expecting that Bitcoin's going to make up roughly 4 trillion of that, but not exactly, and we'll talk about that later, right? We're expecting here that we could see a 5x multiple or 400% return from where we are right now. Well, taking the midpoint correction of the cycle, the kind of halfway correction point, which I think we saw back here in May, 42% move in 1 month, one of the most bloody months alongside the March correction, alongside with some of the corrections in 2018. Major double-digit correction here for Bitcoin. In fact, I think it is technically the most bloody month for total valuation of cryptocurrencies. Right? So this signifies kind of the midpoint of the cycle. And the midpoint cycle we saw back in the previous cycle after we'd broken past the all-time highs, both in Bitcoin and total market cap, was back here in July of 2017. Very similar time frame on the stock-to-flow model, a lot of the data science models. And what we saw from there was in a matter of 26 weeks, as we're taking a look at the 2-week chart, you can see 13 bars, 26 weeks, we saw a 1,500% move, roughly speaking. Okay. Take a look at what we got here. Okay. If we go from that bottom range to that high, we're asking for roughly under an 800% move. Right? You can rough these out, 750%. 1,500%. Sounds like about half of what we had last time. Very similar to the return multiple that we're expecting within Bitcoin. 12,000%, 6,300%. Roughly about half. You're never going to get things exact, guys, right? Not a far off ask. Plays in line with decaying returns. As the cycles grow longer, they generally have lower return multiples. As the markets get bigger, it's more difficult for Bitcoin to double at a $100 billion valuation than where it is at a $1 billion valuation, right? So this is all pretty much in line with what we should expect. If we take a look at the long-term time frame, this really isn't as euphoric or parabolic as what we expected last time, because back in the previous cycle, if you want to take it bottom to top, for total market cap, you're talking about a 37,200% return. Whereas this time around, this kind of return would only be for total market cap around a little less than a third of what we had last time. Around 11,219%. Not too far off, not too crazy, but we are doing something that a lot of people aren't accounting for, and that's the time frame, the waiting that this cycle is going to take a little bit longer than what many people anticipate. Everyone wants to know that, the cycle time is going to be next week. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be euphoric, because people don't want to wait for it. There's a lot of people who aren't patient enough and don't look at these long-term time frames and set their expectations in a rational way. Now, I've talked a lot about this total market cap here, and we focused on Bitcoin initially, but we got to talk about the thing that is actually not only the best opportunity here in regards to multiples, but is going to make up a vast majority of this total market cap. And it's not going to be Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is the largest crypto in this case as of right now. We have to talk about the altcoin market. The altcoin market is going to make up, in my opinion, at the peak of this cycle, 75% of the market. Now, some of you, in this case, can already start to do the math here. If we're doing a $10 trillion valuation, that would put altcoins at a $7.5 trillion valuation, roughly speaking. But there's a catch or a question that some of you might have already noticed. And that might be, Nick, if you're calling for altcoins to be 75% of the market or $7.5 trillion valuation, and you were talking about Bitcoin going to 200K, therefore having about a $4 trillion market cap, the math doesn't add up. And that's a very important point because we're expecting that altcoins are going to peak slightly later than Bitcoin, sometime between anywhere from December to February of 2023. Now, why is that? Well, you guys might remember exactly what happened last time, where altcoins were outpacing Bitcoin in this case in January, right? We had about a month and a half extension from when Bitcoin set at its peak in December 2015 until late January, where altcoins were still killing it. They were making some massive moves when Bitcoin was starting to stall, right? So we're expecting here that altcoins are going to carry through and have a euphoric rise as unlimited levels of new valuation are not unlimited, but new exuberant levels of valuations are in the market, and therefore people want to keep making more and more, and they want to go speculate more. And whether it's for better or for worse, that's how the market works. We can't deny that. So we're expecting that, again, that Bitcoin high is going to be set in, and we're going to have a month or two of craziness in the crypto market. Now, again, a lot of you might be saying, Nick, right now altcoins are already doing great. Altcoins are already starting to set in relative 90-day highs in performance against Bitcoin. This is what the altcoin season index looks at over the last 90 days. Are the broad altcoins outpacing Bitcoin? And again, we looked at this indicator back here in July and August when everyone was fearful about altcoins. People weren't certain about the state of the market. We were saying, guys, this is the time. This is the peak time to get at. Now we have started to climb up here. Right? And even though I do think altcoins are going to continue to climb here over the next few weeks, and we can hang in this altcoin season range, which is generally a negative sentiment indicator that things are too exuberant, right? This is just short-term time frame analysis. What we really need to do is we need to take a look at the long-term chart and set rational expectations for what can happen. And this is where I really want to put my closing point here, guys. Because for the bull market, to lead cryptocurrencies towards a $10 trillion market cap, you're going to need altcoin dominance to rise. Plain and simple. It's either not only going to need to hold its ground for some time, it's going to have a breakout, a big bang in this case for valuation. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about a plausible scenario, a rough guideline of what to expect. I think that altcoins over the next coming months and the peak of the close of this year, in this case of 2021, are going to continue rising. 2021 has been an incredibly favorable year for altcoins, and I think it will continue to be, right? As we clear through this first resistance point from back here in May of 2018 for market dominance for our altcoins, and then lead up here towards around 64 to 65% with the previous highs back in January 2018. And I have a feeling during that time, a lot of people are going to say, oh my gosh, the bull market's over. We're done for. My calling for, I'm not talking about me, but a lot of other people will be like, my cycle top call, it's in. I told you guys the market's going to be done for. And the altcoins, yes, they will bleed for a little while. Yes, there will be some pandemonium. People will be upset. But as we go into the mid part of 2020, there will be an interesting sign. There will be an interesting sign that we start to see altcoin dominance not only face resistance here at the end of 2021, but come down and rest on a range of previous resistance that's been turned into new support. And it's going to do something that a lot of people won't pay attention to because everyone will still remember when they were so fearful of altcoins. That is a slight pattern of higher lows and higher highs along that support line. And from there, inevitably, towards December 2020, as Bitcoin is rallying towards those new highs of the market. A euphoric breakout for altcoins. Now, it doesn't seem like much. We're talking about a 65% market dominance hold for altcoins going to 75%. Doesn't sound too crazy, right? Well, I would say during that time period, as Bitcoin is already high. In this case, you're already talking about altcoins garnering a lot of valuation and holding their market dominance during this period of time. Doesn't mean that altcoins won't be the focus point here. But when we're talking about that golden exacerbation here, we're talking about trillions of dollars of valuation. Trillions of dollars, right? Or roughly speaking, potentially hundreds of billions of dollars swashing back into the altcoin market. A massive move for a ton of different cryptocurrency plays, right? So again, after that, sometime within January, February, seeing that cycle peak, 3/4 of the market being owned by altcoins at $7.5 trillion of market cap, inevitably coming down, right? Catching a lot of people off guard who are probably a few steps behind now, FOMOing in up here, and it's going to drag dominance down below where this line, once again, for the bear market serves as resistance. I think this seems like a very reasonable outcome for cryptocurrency markets over the coming years. And it's definitely long-term time frame analysis. Things aren't going to play exactly like this. But I want to set those targets in mind, guys, so we can have some rational expectations, how things will not only probably go far beyond what people think is rational and reasonable, but at the same time, it's going to take time, plain and simple. Anyways, guys, I've rambled on enough as per usual. But if you like this video, one of the best things you guys can do for me, it really means a lot with the content we put here on the channel, is if you could drop a like, consider subscribing, and hit the bell icon. If you like this kind of macro analysis, if you're tired of all the noise out there, if you're tired of all the rampant speculation and promotion of platforms that just really aren't to the benefit of everyday users, in this case, if you guys enjoy this content, definitely feel like joining the family. You guys are more than welcome to. We'd love to have you here. And if there's anything you guys want me to cover in the channel, feel free to leave it down in the comments down below. I want to make sure I create content for you guys that you enjoy. All right, that's enough for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.